talk to us about what déjà vu is. What is déjà vu?
When you talk in these terms, one is simply continuing the idea that time exists, a past, a present, and a future. But when all of it is occurring simultaneously, then one is simply seeing what is in the state of being. One can either, shall we say, perceive it and forget it. Do you follow what? Because then when it arrives, one recognizes one already perceived it. You understand, it seems as if the future is determined, but the future is determined by the present actions. So whatever one perceives as, shall we call it your déjà vu, is already part of the activities that one is engaged in. Does this make? I understand this is quite confusing because it is difficult to perceive fifth dimension experience, and that is when time and space unify as a singular system. One is then overseeing the whole. So shall we say when one perceives such an event that one has seen in the that one seemingly has seen in the past, one has at that time shifted viewpoints to see an overall, shall we call it, cascade of events. So, shall we say, the future event is mirrored by the past event. In other words, when you see something in the future, it is a result of something that was in your past. Do you follow what I mean? Even though all of it is simultaneous. It is a function of the overall influence of consciousness. Shall we say it is a mathematical function determined by consciousness individually en masse?
So when somebody is experiencing the feeling of déjà vu, are they reading the consciousness? Because generally it's only a few seconds.
You have arrived. You understand, you have arrived at what you perceived.
Okay.
So it is, shall we say, it is a memory to demonstrate that consciousness is within the space-time continuum.
Okay.
So, shall we say, such a space-time continuum is not, cannot be perceived as a flat piece of paper, a flat plane, but it is jagged and it reflects on itself. It twists and it turns in many degrees. You follow what I mean? So sometimes one could visualize this by, if one were to look at a turn on the road, you can see what is ahead, even before you arrive at that place.
So it's you only have deja vu when your prediction of the future based on the present is accurate.
That is correct.
And so what about people that have frequent deja vu? Are they just...
They are very good at predicting. You understand, they are very good at seeing what consequences lead to. Because all of this is about consequences and, shall we say, lessons. You understand that when you can understand a behavior and its consequence, then one has learned a lesson, a valuable lesson at that. So one then begins to take actions that lead to desirable consequences. If you tell someone you love them, you can be fairly certain you will get a desirable consequence. If you are angry at somebody, you will get a different consequence, less desirable. And so then you begin to take action. You learn from consequences. That is the nature of the physical world that requires time. Because without time, the consequence and the action are the same.